Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Yoders Farm. I'm Eldon and Lowell's here with me today. Time for another podcast. How you doing, Lowell?
Pretty good. You got me strapped to this stool and here we go.
I think you could technically leave if you really wanted to, but
not with all these cords dangling around.
It would make for a weird podcast.
I guess so. Well,
yeah.
So I'm here, so.
Well, you're basically the main podcastee, so what have you all been up to at the farm lately?
Well, it snowed today, so that was different since we hadn't had any snow for a while.
A couple of years, it almost seems.
Yeah, I don't think
we got a skiff last year.
Trace last year, but it sure wasn't much. And this wasn't really much either, but
yeah.
When you go for as long as we have without snow, I guess it's unusual. It was nice. It was pretty.
Couple of inches.
And it's starting to get mucky now.
Yep.
Which it always does.
I noticed that too.
But it was pretty this morning. Yeah. So we're probably focused especially on tomatoes this time of the year because that's what we do.
That's pretty much it for the podcast today.
Pretty much so.
Yeah. There's honestly not a whole ton to talk about new for the last month or so.
Yeah, there's the normal chores outside, and our stove schedule has been fairly intense off and on, at least over the last month, and thankfully you got involved in that, so we definitely appreciate that.
True.
On cold nights, anything much under 30 degrees, upper 20s, we're hitting the stove at 10:30 at night. That's after, hitting it in the late afternoon.
A couple times.
Yeah. 10:30 at night, then 2 o'clock in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Early morning. And then another run at about 6 o'clock. And that's really difficult for one person to do. And if you have 2 people, it's doable. 3 people makes it a lot nicer if you can kind of switch those things off. So we've been doing that some on those cold nights. So yeah, trying to keep the greenhouses warm, and yeah, they are warm. Or I guess I just go through them how we always do.
Sure, yeah. I'm not sure what else to do.
Our earliest crop that we were picking is starting to wind down. They're determinate tomatoes, so they're meant to do that. We'll probably pick them another week or 2, and then start taking some of those vines out. We may not fill that house back up. We had typically grown heirloom tomatoes in there, and we start them or would buy them already grafted heirloom tomato plants.
Yeah.
And transplant them and then pick them, like late May or typically more into June and July. But we have felt the need maybe to try to downsize, but try to be a little wiser on, more focused on how we use our time.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought maybe that would set us up a little better for fall if we could use the additional time.
If we could maybe cut our season off a little earlier in the summer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the heirlooms had tended to go on a little farther. And
Sure.
then that's also our early fall house too, and it's always a juggle or struggle to get those heirlooms wound up.
Gotcha.
And then get a good early fall crop. We didn't start picking tomatoes this year till into November.
Yeah, I think it was almost Thanksgiving.
Which isn't too bad, but might could come in a couple weeks earlier. So maybe, anyway, we're talking about doing that. We may still actually plant some tomatoes back in that greenhouse just because it's hard not to.
Some heirlooms, you mean?
Probably some
necessarily.
heirlooms and maybe some others. I told you that last time we were planting suckers.
Yeah.
We've done some playing around with that over the last months, and we're having really poor luck getting suckers in our one greenhouse to grow roots.
Okay.
Because it was running pretty cold and it seemed pretty hard to do in the wintertime. So this was Dad's idea. Did I tell you about this?
I don't think so.
So we threw them into a tray, like a
strawberry plug tray kind of?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Okay.
It's that size anyway. Put about probably 20, 30, maybe 30 suckers in, just kind of laid them in on the side.
Okay.
And threw dirt over top of them and put them on a grow mat, which we start little seedlings on, which kept the nighttime temperatures really warm.
So a grow mat stays warmer and keeps the whole thing warmer.
And kept them, we threw some old potting soil on top, kept them watered, and those things grew roots quickly. And so it's a very, very interesting concept to me, because now you could start your suckers in a very small place.
Or what if you had heated buckets?
Yeah, I guess.
That's probably about 3 steps down the road.
Well, we do have bottom heat in the one greenhouse, which does make a difference.
Oh, do we? I didn't know that. The metal greenhouse?
Yep.
Huh.
That's kind of our winter house.
Well, I knew that. I didn't realize it was because of that.
That's one of the reasons.
Interesting.
It helps the tomatoes ripen up and keeps those roots warm. But anyway, it's an interesting concept to the sucker thing that we're doing. We're still not convinced that suckers are the way to go, but sometimes they might have a role. And if we got into a situation like that, that might be a good way to start them. And then, like, typically we plant them into our pots, and they need a lot of water because they want to wilt, because they have no roots. And until they grow a root, then there's nothing to feed them. So you sometimes have to water them multiple times a day, or it takes a lot more water than an established plant with a root system. Well, maybe you could be transplanting.
This would sort of let you create a plug. Strawberry.
Yeah, it wouldn't actually have dirt on it.
Yeah,
but it would have roots, and I think that it would have something that would pull. Anyway, fun little experiment we're messing around with.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see how that works out as they grow, and if there's anything weird with the plants.
So basically, then our large house, we're working at planting it. We have half of it or so will go into a variety of little tomato plants we have planted. I think I talked about that.
Yep.
Some of it suckers. We're picking good amounts of fruit in our winter house, which we just talked about.
Lots of vine work these days.
Yeah, those are almost all Torero tomatoes, which I think we kind of like it.
I think beautiful, I ate some the other day.
Beautiful tomatoes, great flavor. Good size for this time of the year. I think the vines are maybe a little excessively growthy. Maybe that's just low light. I mean, they always get stretchier in this time of the year because of low light, which makes more vine work. I mean, that's pretty much what I've been doing this week is taking bottom leaves off, pruning things up, suckering, clipping, so forth. So anyway, that's I guess we'll just have to see if that's a trait of Torero's. Maybe that would steer us towards another tomato, but I don't know. They produce beautiful tomatoes too, and we've been picking good volumes of them, so that's a plus as well.
We'll know better once we
have a full season with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can, put up with some things through certain times of the year if your overall yield and experience is a good thing.
Yeah. Very good. Well, that's greenhouse stuff, kind of. Anything?
Yeah, strawberries are kind of where they have been. We threw out some more row covers. I'm less aggressive with row cover, how should I say it? I used to be very concerned about row covers, really felt that they were necessary for winter time, and I've been less concerned about that the last number of years. I think they're a good thing, and they can provide some protection for the plant, keep it from getting as chewed up and so forth over
from
winter.
Deer.
From deer as well, but I was meaning from cold.
Okay, yeah.
We've had very few nights below 20. We will actually have
one or two maybe.
The next couple will be in that range. So, yeah, I guess I'm just less stressed. I mean, I used to would have anything under 20, think, we got to get all the covers out.
Yeah.
We're mostly covered up right now, but not totally. And yeah, that's where that's at.
Very good.
I'll probably keep covers on some over the next month. I don't want to push things along too fast. Some of the thought across the strawberry industry is that because of the warm fall, we had lots of growing degree days. Our crop is probably a little bit more advanced than it normally would be when it stopped for the winter, and so maybe row covers or too much or too many. Anyway, maybe the plants would more quickly wake up in the spring than normal because they went to bed in a more advanced state, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah.
So you don't want to, sometimes, yeah, it is nice to push things, but you don't want to have all your crop pushed and then have some real nasty cold in April or something like that.
You don't want to start blooming then to March quite. Or, no, first of March.
It'd be okay if it stayed warm, but
yeah.
Of course, by the end of March, we will be blooming,
I was
blooming pretty well, probably.
Misthinking the timeline there.
I sometimes do that too.
It's not too far away, unfortunately. Or fortunately, or
so
whatever.
Yeah, that's row covers, strawberries. We'll just kind of monitor things in that front over the next couple month, I guess.
Yeah.
We are almost to February, aren't we?
That's so weird. Yeah.
Other than that, I've been thinking about fall stuff.
Okay.
I think you should get the corn maze design figured out.
Well, we don't know what the first half of the year is going to bring us, so we need something to design with, some ideas.
I was
wouldn't be all
listening
bad to think about it.
Online pumpkin meeting from last night, or sometime over the last couple of the days, and they talked about the strong sales last year, and they expect that to continue this year. And just because of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So I think, made me think, well, we should probably, as busy as we were last year, let's plan a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'll try to make sure we have everything in place to have a good fall season.
Yeah.
Of course, we have to have strawberry season before then. So.
True. Yeah. No matter what you think of Fauci, I guess, the other day I heard him talking about when we might get back to, quote, normal, unquote. He thought by mid to late summer we'd start seeing some things changing for sure. So fall might be different again for some other reasons. Who knows?
I guess you could put a picture of Fauci in the corn maze. That'd be very controversial, probably.
Yeah, probably stay away from that. Yeah. All right. Well, anything else we should talk about before we wrap this one up?
Go
ahead. Might be another month or so before we record another one. Winter is just a little, not slower necessarily, a little bit, but there's less change, so it's a little harder to figure out what to talk about that's different.
Do a few jobs that we never get around to, like cleaning up a few certain spots.
Yeah.
So we got some of that done and hope to get a little bit more of that done over the next month or month and a half.
Yeah.
Before things really get busy.
Some good snow and mud always helps things like that too. Just kidding. All right. Well, thanks for listening. If you've made it this far, as always, if you're interested in more information about the farm, you can head over to yodersfarm.com, and there's more information there than you probably even could consider wanting. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks. See ya.